Once, everything was awesome. Now, everything is bleak.
Hey, Lucy. I brought you coffee.
Coffee. The bitter liquid that provides the only semblance of pleasure left in these dark times.
Oh my goshness. Did I interrupt you brooding just now?
Times have changed. You need to change with them. We have to be tough and battle ready.
Look, a shooting star. Make a wish.
Oh no.
Hurry! The door is slowly closing.
Oh, the pain. It's getting so cold.
Emmett, what are you doing?
Hooray!
See, that wasn't so bad. Nothing got in. Ah! Something got in.
I'm General Mayhem. Bring me your fiercest leader.
Lucy!
Emmett!
Hello, listeners, and welcome to episode 40 of the DNA Film Wars podcast. Today we are reviewing the film Lego Movie 2.
The second part.
The second part. Yeah, that's right.
Directed by Mike Mitchell.
Written by, as always, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
Starring Chris Pratt, Elizabeth Banks, Will Arnett, Tiffany Haddish, and a bunch of other people.
Yes, other famous people.
With us today, as always, is Aaron and myself, Dylan, and we also have a special guest today, and that's Andrew. Go ahead and say hi, Andrew.
Hello.
All right, so let's go ahead and just jump right into this movie. It's been about a week since I've seen it.
I saw this one Wednesday.
Dylan was gone last weekend, so we didn't get a chance to review it, so it's a little late. Oh, before we get into this movie, I just want to say that we're not going to review, like I said, because Dylan was gone last weekend, so we're not going to review Cold Pursuit like I had intended. So I thought that me and Andrew might just give a quick summary of what we saw since Dylan hasn't seen it yet.
Go for it.
So basically, it might be the best movie I've seen this year. Unfortunately, that's not a big bar to hurdle. So it's all right. I really liked the first act, the first 30 minutes or so. Spoiler alert, Dylan. The first act is great because Liam Neeson, like after his son dies, just like brutally murders 3 drug dealers.
Sick.
But the second 2 acts, in my opinion, just kind of lost their way. Liam Neeson took a major backseat to this plot with some Native American drug dealers waging a drug war with the drug dealers who killed Liam Neeson's son, and that becomes the main central focus, and Liam Neeson's just kind of there. So, yeah, it was all right. Andrew, what do you think?
I think it was a good movie, and the first 30 minutes were good, but the rest of it was a pretty solid movie.
Okay. What he said. But anyway, I mean, if you're a Liam Neeson fan, I would suggest going and checking it out.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this one if I get some free time to go check it out.
If I had to rank his post-Taken movies, this would probably be the second best.
What's the first best post-Taken movie?
The Grey.
The Grey.
By a pretty good margin.
Was that post-Taken? I thought that came out the same year as Taken.
I think it was after Taken. I'm pretty sure.
It was after Taken.
I thought didn't that movie come out 2009 or something like that? 2009, 2010.
Something like that. But it was after Taken.
That's fair. Either way,
it was his best one since Taken.
Taken on a Plane was pretty decent.
Yeah, Taken on a Plane was pretty. What was that called? Nonstop.
No.
That was pretty decent.
The Commuter is okay.
The Commuter's okay. There was one. Which one was the one he did with Ed Harris?
Run All Night.
Run All Night.
Walk Among the Tombstones wasn't terrible.
Walk Among the Tombstones was all right.
God, he's done way too many movies.
He's done a lot of movies. Taken 2 is trash.
Yeah.
Taken 3 is pretty bad too.
Taken 3 is passable.
Better than the second one, I thought.
I still think, I mean, if you're talking about quality of film, his best movie he ever did is still Schindler's List.
But that's pre-Taken.
So. But that's way pre-Taken.
That's way pre-Taken. By about 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, something like that. So that was a good distance long time ago. So,
his best movie is clearly The Phantom Menace. No.
Oh, man.
Totally.
Have you ever seen Krull? Oh my God.
Anyway, so we got a little bit off topic there.
But let's get back to our movie, our focus of this episode, which is the Lego Movie 2.
The second part.
So, going into this movie, I was excited for it. I really liked the first Lego movie. I really liked the Lego Batman movie. I did not watch the Lego Ninjago movie. I heard it's not that great, so I just kind of skipped it. But I assume you were fans.
Yeah, I remember watching the first Lego movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like, wow, this is a really neat concept. Lego's making a killing on this too. I was like, man, this is pretty decent. I was like, I was thoroughly surprised and thoroughly impressed with how good it was. And then the Lego Batman movie came out. I was like, all right, I like this. This is pretty good. It had some great humor in it. Like you, also, I did not watch the Lego Ninjago movie. Don't really have any desire to see that. I've also heard it's pretty bad. But this one, it's a downslide, I think, for me as far as the Lego movies go. It's not as good as Lego Batman. It's not as good as the first Lego movie. But that's just initial thoughts. So I'll let Andrew go ahead and give us initial thoughts. What did you think of it, bud?
I thought it was a pretty good movie and all, but it wasn't good the first one. I thought it was a little bit of a downgrade.
So did you like it as good as Lego Batman movie?
I think it was. I think the Lego.
I mean, would you say it's still a downgrade from Lego Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a downgrade from Lego Batman. The Lego Batman movie was a little bit better than the Lego movie, the second part.
That's fair.
Yeah, and we'll get into it and talk about it, but I do definitely think it's a downgrade from the previous 2 entries.
Previous 3 entries, I guess. We don't know if we've not seen the third entry.
Okay,
so.
yeah. Excluding Lego Ninjago, I think is a downgrade from the 2 I have seen. I actually think I might enjoy the Lego Batman movie as much, or I don't know. I enjoyed it more than the first one, but I
enjoyed it at least as much, as the first Lego movie. I think, especially if you're like a Batman fan, it's got a different kind of humor than the actual Lego movie, and that appeals to certain people more. And I think that's what helps make that movie right there on par with that first Lego movie, and that I enjoyed so much. So
yeah, but let's go ahead and jump into the plot of this one. So we open up with the events of Taco Tuesday, which, if you remember from the first one, basically, everything that happens in their world is dependent on like the people they're playing with the play set, which is Will Ferrell and his kids, his movie kids, playing with it, and they allow the younger sister to come play, and that's basically Taco Tuesday. So this movie, we get through that pretty quick, and we go, what is it, 5 years later?
Yeah, 5 years later.
Real time, I think, anyway. Yeah. So they live in, what is the town they live in?
Apocalypseburg.
Yeah, and so everyone is really down and sour in like a post-apocalyptic Lego world.
It looks exactly like Mad Max.
Yeah, it's like Mad Max.
Was made out of Legos.
It's totally.
Which is cool because Mad Max. It looks. Let me put it this way: it's Mad Max Fury Road. It's not like the first 3 Mad Max. It's Mad Max Fury Road.
Kind of like Road Warrior 2. It's about the same feel. That's fair. But anyway, except for our hero Emmett, voiced again by Chris Pratt.
He's still all cheery and
happy.
And happy. I really like this first opening scene here, and he goes up and you've seen it in the trailer. If you've seen the trailers, you've seen the scene where he's like, "Ooh, did I catch you brooding?" when he walks up to Elizabeth Banks' character, Wild Style.
Or Lucy,
or whatever her name is. I don't remember. I think they call her Lucy mostly in this movie, don't they? And anyway, and so then it's kind of sweet because he built this little house for them and imagined them living together. And she's like, "Emmett, the world's a crappy place. Blah blah blah.
You need to grow up."
So and I'll say that. So the first, I don't know, what is this? The first 10 or 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, maybe 10 or 15 minutes.
I'm enjoying this movie. It's rapid fire jokes, just like the other 2 that we've seen. I don't think it's quite as rapid fire
as Lego Batman.
As Lego Batman or the first Lego movie. But I mean, they're coming fast and sort of funny. And sometimes some of them land, some of them don't. I'll say that from the onset, this movie is definitely geared for a younger age. I felt like.
And like the first one. Like the first one seemed it was geared toward maybe a little bit of an older audience.
I mean, it was geared for everyone because they had a lot of humor that went over in both the Lego Batman movie and the first Lego movie. They had a lot of humor that was meant for adults that would go right over kids' heads, or just pop culture references.
Yeah.
Which this one has them too, but I just don't think they have.
There's not as many. It was definitely geared at a younger audience. I think specifically geared toward a younger audience compared to the 2 that we've seen.
Yeah. So.
Which I noticed that in the movie when I went and saw it. I was like, man, have I just gotten too old to enjoy this?
Yeah, I didn't think that. I thought that it was just.
Well, I liked, like you said, the first maybe 15-ish minutes of it, but then after that, I was just like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'll say because then we go from that, and then the new character who is the General Mayhem.
Yeah,
is that the new one? voiced by Stephanie Beatriz.
Beatriz.
Yeah. Anyway, she shows up and they have this big chase scene with that you've seen in the commercial, in the previews or trailers, where she's chasing them in the truck, and like Emmett is putting on the blinker so she knows they can move. And I mean, that's kind of funny. And you know, everyone hides in this giant bunker thing, and she shoots
Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yeah, she shoots a star. Like, she has these hard bombs and these star bomb things, and she shoots a star. And it's like,
I did laugh at that. Oh, Japan.
I like that. And he's like, I see nothing got. And Emmett opens the door for just a fraction of a second to let it in, and she's like, "Oh, see, nothing got in," but General Mayhem did get in. Mm-hmm. And then
bring me your fiercest leader.
And then, yeah, of course, we have the big, you know, the feminist message scene where she's like, she's talking to Lucy, and she's like, so you kicked butt and did all of the hard work, and the hapless male took the credit or whatever. And anyway, so she then kidnaps most of the main cast.
Yeah, she takes Lucy, she takes Batman, she takes Unikitty, and I think she takes Benny, played by... Yeah, she takes Benny, played by Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Takes a few of the main characters, so...
And, yeah, the ones that are important to the story, well, or at least need to be in the story from the first one. Yeah. Except for Emmett. She doesn't take Emmett.
Emmett gets left behind.
Emmett gets left behind. So then he tries to rally the rest of the Lego figures.
And they say no.
And, of course, you know, this is the scene, like, where they get to cycle through all their Lego figures, like Gandalf, and I don't know, they have, like, I think the creature from the Black Lagoon's in there somewhere, and
Legos of former NBA and WNBA stars,
yeah, and,
who actually voice themselves.
A football star, Michael Bennett, I think, voices one of them, and yeah, so they're
just cycling through a bunch of people.
And anyway, so then Emmett goes off by himself with Planty, isn't it?
Planty,
which doesn't play a role in the movie later, but anyway, has him and this plant go to save Lucy. And anyway, so what's happening in the real world at the same time that I guess you can put together is that the reason that they are being kidnapped in this Lego world is because the sister in the real world has taken them and
is playing with them
and has taken them to her room. And I think by this point Emmett has had a dream of Armageddon, which we'll learn later is just they're repronouncing our mom gets in. But anyway, and so he goes and we go to the star system and we meet Queen whatever I want to be, which is whatever I want to be.
Voiced by Tiffany Haddish.
And this,
what do you think of Tiffany Haddish in this?
I mean, she's all right. I mean, the voice acting's good. She's just...
I think I like Tiffany Haddish better in this than I have in the last couple things I've seen her in.
Yeah, I mean, she's just kind of there. I mean, but this scene right here is when the movie first starts to kind of grate on me, when we have this big musical number.
Yeah.
Of she's singing...
How she's not bad.
How she's not evil. And this song goes on for a long
time. I think it goes on for a solid 5 or 6 minutes.
It should have been cut in half at least. I started to feel like, because there's several musical numbers in this movie that go on a long time, mm-hmm. I started to wonder if they were having trouble filling the runtime, which I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because it's a pretty long movie. What is it like? I forgot how long it is, but
I think it's an hour and 47 minutes, but 13 of that's credits.
Okay, maybe it's not that long then, but because maybe it just felt long. But I mean, I think maybe they were having trouble.
So really, it's about an hour and 34.
So they were having trouble filling the runtime, so they had to have a few. This is the longest, I think, musical number, and it just goes on and on. And it was, like I said, for the first half of it was kind of fun because she just cycled through their main characters, telling them what she'd give them or whatever. And but then she did it a second time, and I was like, okay, I get the point. So Andrew, have you been enjoying the movie up to this point?
Yeah. I've been enjoying the movie up to the musical. I thought it drug on a little too long.
Okay. And but anyway, so at what point did you start to think, okay, this movie is maybe not quite up to the standards of the previous two?
Pretty much right after they get to the Sistar system and we have this music number. At that point, I was like, oof. We just took a dip.
Yeah, it's definitely...
And then from there, I think it's...
I think it struggles to regain its footing.
It's a roller coaster
it's up and down.
Of hit and miss scenes.
Hit and miss jokes, hit and miss scenes.
More lengthy musical numbers.
Yeah, they at some point they get Lucy and they take all of them and they put them in these rooms and they get Lucy and they put her in a room where they're singing "This Song Is Gonna Get Stuck in Your Head." That's the literal title of the song, and that musical number goes on for a while.
And it makes a reprise multiple times.
Yes, and I'm just like, oh god, okay, this movie is not as entertaining as I felt it should be. And then while this is all going on, so
we have old Emmett, and he and his little house spaceship thing that he's been are going through this asteroid field, I guess, and he crashes.
But he's saved by
Rex Dangervest.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Star-Lord, guy from what's his name from Jurassic World? I can't think of that character's name from Jurassic World. He's basically all those people.
Yeah, he's just Chris Pratt doing himself. And he has a bunch of pet
Rex Dangervest.
He literally has a bunch of pet raptors running his spaceship, and that's kind of funny. I like how all the raptor sounds are literal sounds from the Jurassic Park movies that the raptors made. That's pretty cool. But he's like basically a cool version of Emmett. There's a big plot twist, quote unquote, that we'll see
toward the end
that we'll figure out. But
anyway,
he is trying to teach Emmett how to be cool or whatever.
Or Emmett asks him to teach him how to be cool.
Yeah. And so they go to the star system to rescue...
Save Lucy.
Save Lucy and the bunch. So we get to the star system. Emmett and Rex Dangervest, or whatever his name is.
Rex Dangervest.
Dangervest, that's funny. They go on this planet and they are surrounded by... What was it like?
They're Diplo little, like, you know, like the little kids Legos. They're Diplo Lego figures, the big chunky blocks.
So then they Emmett figures out he has this super power punch that basically can break any Lego configuration, and then they find at the beginning of this movie it was explained that the Justice League Lego figures all went out to stop these invasion of the Little Sisters Lego toys, and they never came back. So we had the scene where I like this scene kind of where they go to they find this little
village
housing residential area, and Superman's out there mowing his lawn, hanging out with Green Lantern, who he hates.
Green Lantern literally just pops up from out behind him. I'm like, where did he come from?
It's kind of a running joke that none of the rest of the Justice League like the Green Lantern figure. Yeah. And Aquaman, both the versions of Aquaman there are classic Aquaman and Jason Momoa Aquaman. And I mean, it's kind of a fun little scene. And then they get surrounded and they start trying to hypnotize him with the new music or whatever. Which, okay, it's kind of a flaw hole if you ask me, because we're going to figure out later something that I will come back to why I don't really like all this. They tried too hard to fake you out with this plot twist I think they got coming out. Which I realize this is a kid's movie. But, it's whatever. But still... I think they tried too hard to fake you out with this plot twist we got coming up. But anyway, while this is going on, Lucy, we discover that her real hair is not black and purple.
She's been coloring it with Sharpie, I guess.
It's bright blue and bright pink. And she used to be a fun. The way I took the ending was that she actually was the original person to record Everything Is Awesome.
Yeah, she was part of the pop group that recorded Everything Is Awesome.
Yeah.
Which at the end of the movie it says there's a little album cover that's like Everything Is Awesome by a popular music group or something like that.
Yeah, by a pop music group or something. And we have a new song at the end of this movie that is Everything Is Not Awesome, but they sing a couple times. But anyway, she's trying to escape and everything, but there's not really much plot here, so let's just kind of skip to this beginning sequence here. Queen whatever it is.
Whatever Wanabe.
Tiffany Haddish. She has conned Batman into marrying her, because if her and Batman get married, then they will unite their two worlds and be saved or something. And anyway, and she's conned. I mean, it's kind of funny the sequence that she was able to use to con Batman.
Yeah, it's funny.
Where she's talking up Superman, and of course, Batman hates Superman.
Another musical number.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, whatever, I'll marry you. And
will you marry me?
Will you marry me? And it's so anyway, she cons him into marrying her. So we have this big wedding sequence, and our we had the big wedding sequence where Lucy discovers that the Tiffany Haddish character, Queen...
Is actually a good guy.
Is actually the good guy. I mean, because they... But that's my problem, that they tried so hard to convince you that she was a bad guy. Like, if she's not the bad guy, why with all the hypnotizing music and stuff? But, it's like I said, it's a kid movie. I'm not going to worry about it. It's whatever.
And they make the argument, though, that they weren't actually hyptonized. They were just having a good time.
Yeah, which... Oh, okay.
They kind
of acting weird to not be hypnotized, but okay. But anyway... But Emmett doesn't realize this. He thinks that Lucy's being brainwashed too.
Yeah, he still thinks Lucy's brainwashed.
But it turns out that the actual bad guy is
Rex Dangervest.
Because his backstory, he was trapped under...
We actually find out that he is Emmett.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is
He was Emmett from the past. He was trapped under
Undar Dryer system.
Yeah, under Undar Dryer, which was under the dryer. He was stuck under the
He
dryer.
got flung out from the place under the dryer.
And he was trapped there until he finally got the willpower to get him...
Used anger and rage to turn cool.
Yeah.
And he goes up to like the little drawers where all the little hair and stuff are, and he gets a new outfit and becomes Rex Dangervest.
Honestly, I'll be honest. I didn't see that him being a future version of Emmett coming, even though they're voiced by the same actor. I should have seen it coming. I mean, it's super obvious now. But I was like, okay, I didn't see that coming, but okay. I mean, it works. I don't have a problem with it. It's not mind blowing or anything, but I do like the scene, like from the trailer. If you've seen it, where where Emmett goes up to Lucy. And he has little dots drawn on his face. He's just like,
did you just stubble dots on your face?
He's like, no. He
wipes them off and it smidges.
That's pretty funny. Like I said, there's hit and miss jokes here. I mean, this movie by this point I feel like is really dragging. But I mean, there's hit and miss jokes. That's a hit, and there's others that miss. There's a lot of younger age jokes aimed at younger kids that I'm sure kids found funny. What I found interesting about this movie is that this movie did not do well at the box office, and
no, it made about half. It made about half of what the first Lego Movie made.
Yeah,
it made about $35 million domestically.
And they were like going into the weekend, they were expecting the studio was expecting 50 plus, so it way underperformed. Looking at my theater, I mean, I go to like the less popular theater in town where I know it's not necessarily a good indicator. But
that's the theater I work at too.
Yeah, so. But hardly anybody showed up for our showing, and this was on Saturday during the day when you would think all the kids would be like running out to go see it.
I worked. I think I worked that Saturday morning.
No, I take that back. It was not Saturday during the day. It was Friday evening.
Yeah, you saw it Friday night.
Evening. But still, I mean,
Friday night. Yeah, I worked that next day, Sunday, and I think the biggest showing that we've had so far for it was 116, which is not even 70% of our biggest theater. It's about 66% of our biggest theater.
The showing that me and Andrew went and saw, there was like there was an older couple that sat behind us to watch it, and then there was like a family, like I guess a couple that brought in like their 3 little kids, and that was it. Other than that was it. So, I mean, yeah, I was very surprised there was not more people there, and so yeah, I was not that surprised that it underperformed. I don't really understand why. I mean, I know I'm about to tell you why I think it's not.
I can tell you why it's underperforming. It's because we've oversaturated the market with Lego movies. We had one good Lego movie, we had another good Lego movie, and then we had a Lego movie that no one asked for in Lego Ninjago, and then we made a second actual sequel to the first Lego movie that no one asked for.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they've been released year after year after year consecutively.
Yeah, I think oversaturation is a problem with not just this franchise. It's a problem with pretty much every franchise running right now. Look at Star Wars. Solo bombed pretty epically, and it's mostly due to oversaturation
and the fact that people don't like Rian Johnson.
And well, he didn't.
That was a big thing with that movie. People were boycotting seeing that movie because of Rian Johnson.
Well, The Division, yeah, people that didn't really care for The Last Jedi. But I think more than anything, because I mean, of general audiences, I don't know how much that it really affected them. I mean, obviously there's a lot of Star Wars fans that did affect, but I think it was just like we had a Star Wars movie in December and they turned around and released another one in May.
Which originally wasn't supposed to come out in May. I thought it was supposed to come out in December originally.
No, I think it was supposed to come out in May. The Last Jedi was supposed to come out the previous May, but they had pushed it back to December. But instead of doing the smart, whoever made this decision should have been fired immediately. Instead of pushing Solo back to December to put some distance between them, they just left it in May because they thought that somehow, I guess, the Memorial Day sales would help them out. But anyway, that's for the Star Wars podcast. I'm getting off track. Anyway, ranting. Let's get back on the subject. Anyway, this movie, the point is it underperformed. But anyway, let's get back to the plot. So basically, Emmett doesn't believe Lucy when she says, okay, they're actually the good guys. Don't do your super punch and break the world.
Well, he does a super punch.
He does the super punch and he breaks the world. And so in the real, we break back to the real world where his super punch, like, of course, breaks apart the Lego set. In the sister's room, the older brother comes in, sees that the Legos are scattered everywhere.
And breaks it, yeah.
He's upset. And so then Armageddon
begins.
Because Mom, played by Maya Rudolph, comes in.
She's like, I said this was the last time multiple times, but this is actually the last time. Put it all up.
She sits on a Lego and it makes a face. And so then
steps on another Lego, makes another face. She's like, we're almost as bad as childbirth. She goes, childbirth, right here. Stepping on this Lego, it's just like barely underneath it.
Barely underneath, yeah. And she, so they all get put into storage. Storage. And, which, I mean, these jokes are kind of funny when they're like changing the names. But anyway, and then so they're all stuck in these boxes. Emmett gets thrown into the dryer again.
By Rex Dangervest.
And anyway, but then Lucy breaks out into Everything Is Not Awesome, which is actually by the end of it an inspirational song. And they all get up and they break out and she goes and saves Emmett from Rex Dangervest.
That way Rex can never exist because Lucy came back for him, so...
Yeah, and then we do the Back to the Future thing where since Emmett was saved by his friends...
He literally says, he's like, I'm Back to the Future.
I'm Back to the Future, yeah, he does. And Rex, since that version of him never existed, he starts to disappear. And...
then poof, he's gone.
And then, we have the little reunion scene and all that, and...
Then we flash forward what we assume is a little bit... And we've rebuilt this new world that mixes with the Sistar system and Apocalypseburg. And it's like Apoca Sistar system or something like that.
That sounds stupid. I don't remember. We did find out during all this that at the beginning of the movie, Emmett gave a heart to the I forget what they call them. The
Diplo character, the little Diplo blocks.
Diploid blocks. And that actually Queen whatever Nabe or whatever is actually that heart, and she's like evolved into Tiffany Haddish.
Who can change form.
To change form to whatever she wants to be. Get it? But I don't know. So that basically wraps up the movie. I was glad it was over. I thought that the last 45 minutes drag. I was ready for it to be over. Like half an hour earlier than that, even though it's not that long a movie. I'm not going to say it's bad, though. I enjoyed quite a bit of it. Like I just said, I just think it went on too long. I was tired. I got tired of the jokes. Definitely aimed at a younger audience. But, Andrew, what were your thoughts as it was wrapping up?
I thought it needed to end sooner than what it did. And I didn't think it was the worst movie I've seen that year. But it wasn't the best movie.
Okay.
All right.
Dylan, did you, if you had to put it I guess we'll let's rank the stars first and then I'll ask you this question. So why don't you go ahead and summarize your thoughts and give it a ranking?
So overall, this whole movie is kind of a letdown for me. As much as I enjoyed the Lego Movie and Lego Batman, again, we have not seen Lego Ninjago, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. But it was kind of a letdown. I was expecting more going into this. It's like, okay, I enjoy the Lego movies. This is probably going to be a pretty fun time. And it was decent for maybe 20 to 25 minutes of this movie. And then after that, I think it goes downhill, and it goes on this roller coaster of hit and miss sequences and scenes that I just didn't care for. But, overall, I think the voice acting is done really well. I really enjoy Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt makes me laugh. I enjoy Elizabeth Banks. I really, really enjoy Will Arnett as Lego Batman.
Yeah.
He's honestly probably the best part of any of these movies.
Lego Batman is the best character in any of them.
Tiffany Haddish is give or take. I'm not a huge Tiffany Haddish fan, but she's not unbearable in this movie.
Yeah. She's honestly not in it a whole lot.
Everyone else is, they're in it, and there's a lot of big names in it that I'm not going to list off that, they just throw in just for the heck of it. But I think the animation of this movie, it looks like a Lego movie. It's done very well, and I think it looks really good. And I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect, and I really enjoy all the pop culture references and stuff like that. But overall, it was a letdown. It's really hit or miss. And I don't think, looking back, had we had the opportunity to not have this movie made, I don't think we should have made it. Which we didn't make it, but it should have. I don't think,
I wish we made it.
Looking back, I don't think it was a movie that needed to be made.
Yeah.
it's not on par with the other movies in my opinion, with the two that I've seen.
So what would
I think
give it?
stars. It's gonna sound really low, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it 2.5.
All right. Well,
2.5 Lego bricks out of 5.
Out of 5. Yeah, I think about the same thing. Yeah, like you said, I forgot to talk about this during the discussion, but the animation is still the strongest aspect of this movie. This animation, just like it was with the first Lego movie and the Batman Lego movie, this CGI that they got for these Legos is astounding, and they did a lot of great work.
It looks like little bitty Legos.
It looks like little bitty Legos walking around. I think it looks great. The voice acting is good. No one's bad here. Like the musical pieces got on my nerves. Like I said, the jokes were not landing near as well as I thought they had before. This is definitely aimed at a younger audience than the first two that I watched were. So, I mean, but because I think younger kids will enjoy it from beginning to end, I'll be kind to it. I'll give it 3 stepped on Lego bricks.
That's painful.
It's painful, yeah. So, because it's painful for me to give it that high ranking. No, not really. I'll give it 3 forever because there's nothing bad about it. There's no aspect of it that I'm
it's not like just terrible. It's just not something that I thoroughly enjoy.
It's just not made for me. I just don't think it's made for me. So
yeah, and I gotta give it that. I'm definitely not the target audience for this movie. So I mean, I have to give it that. It's definitely aimed at that younger audience. So it's just not a movie that I think I can enjoy as much as I enjoyed the other ones when I was 5 years younger almost.
Yeah, there's at least 2 movies coming out this year about toys, walking and talking toys that I hope are better, and they both come out on the same weekend. Toy Story 4 and Child's Play.
The remake.
But Andrew, okay, what would you, if you had to give it a star ranking, what would you give it?
I'll give it a 3.
You give it 3 stars?
3 stars?
That's pretty solid. So I think we all have about the same opinion. It's okay.
It's alright.
It's alright. It's not the worst movie I've seen this year by any stretch. Actually, one of the better, considering the movies I've watched.
Considering the movies that we've seen this year.
It's probably my second best. That's the question I was going to ask you. If you had to rank it at what is this, like the 5th movie we've seen this year for us?
Let's see, we've seen Replicas. We saw Glass, Serenity.
This.
And
I saw...
you saw Cold Pursuit. I haven't seen that yet, but I will see it.
And that's it at this point.
That's it. So out of the 4 that I've seen, as of right now, since I haven't seen Cold Pursuit...
It's the best one you've seen? Do you like it better than Glass?
I don't know if I like it better than Glass, but Glass wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be either. I'll put Glass above this. It's probably the second best movie I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, I'd put Cold Pursuit, even though I didn't love Cold Pursuit. I'll probably say that Cold Pursuit, I'll put it at number 1. Number 2 is a toss-up between Lego Movie and Glass. I would have put, like if you'd asked me a couple days ago, I'd have put Lego Movie solid number 2. The more I think about it, the more I think I probably actually enjoyed studying through Glass probably a little more. But, I mean, they're right there. And then everything else just kind of sucks. So, but anyway, so I think that wraps up our review. Was there any major trailers or anything you want to talk about while we're sitting here? I guess we'll talk about that next episode since we're recording them kind of close together. So, anyway, I guess that's it. Andrew, thanks for joining us on this lovely day here to talk about the Lego Movie.
You're welcome.
Okay.
As always, I'm going to go ahead and plug our social medias. We are up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find us at DNA Film Wars, all lowercase, no space, on all those platforms. So go ahead and give us a like or a follow and tell your friends about us if you enjoy us.
Yeah, if you have any specific questions and or comments, you can always contact us at dnafilmwars@gmail.com. We are up on all major podcatching services that I am aware of.
Yeah, and if you choose not to listen on one of those, or I guess I say this, I've been saying this the last couple episodes. I mean, I guess if you know we're up on YouTube, you've probably listened to these. But we're also up on YouTube if your friends don't like to listen on those podcatching services. So.
Yeah. So, honestly, I've been thinking about not worrying about uploading this on YouTube because it takes a lot of time. And no one listens to us on YouTube.
Not really.
So I think we have other than the first episode, which has 36 views, I think we have maybe a grand total of 10 from the other 39 episodes or 38 episodes combined. So I don't know. I'll see. I'll keep uploading them for now. But anyway, as always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Dylan.
I'm Andrew.
We'll see you next time.
Hang on to your fronts, Planny. We're going to save Lucy.
You tell me to smash
asteroids! You mind if I save your life? Not at all.
Who are you?
The name's Rex Dangervest, galaxy defending archaeologist, cowboy, and raptor trainer. I don't get it.
Will you help me rescue my friends?
You don't want to go anywhere near the Sistar system. It's ruled by an alien queen.
Only the toughest are gonna get out of there alive.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Yes, you are.
I'm a queen, whatever I would not be.
I'm getting super evil vibes here.
I could change my form to something else if this makes you uncomfortable. Hey, guys.
No, go back. The horse was much more palatable.
I got a payphone and a play phone. I gotta get it, baby.
No, it did not.
A1, hit him with the A1 song. Since day one, not the A1 side. Lucy!
Emmett, did you draw stubble dots on your face?
What? No.
Who are you?
I'm your worst nightmare.
You're me when I'm late to school and I forgot my homework and my pants are made of pudding?
No, I don't. Ha!